browsing there, and some guy had said on Quora, how do you become a billionaire? Like, I know how you become a millionaire, you just work hard and get lucky, but how do you become a billionaire? And Elon Musk's ex-wife is a writer. I didn't know this. She came along and she answered this question in comments, and it is stupidly viral on Quora, and I'd never read it before, and I'll summarize it for you. She said, you need to find the thing in the world that you hold the most emotion in, that you're the most passionate about, and that you're really good at. And you need to become the best in the world at that thing. Just keep going and like master it, master that exact thing, become the best in the world. And once you've done that, you need to find another thing that you love and that you're passionate about and that you know everything about. Master that and become the best in the world. And then you build a bridge between the two. And that is how you become a billionaire.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, and my brain just went, oh my gosh. You know, I wound up working for my boss, and it was a Friday. And on the Saturday, I went to a blogging convention with, and I'd bought a mastermind with Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income. Well, he was the reason I bought it. It wasn't his convention, but that's fine. And I met him, and it was amazing. I was like, I love you so much, which, you know, I said it to all of them, Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, love you so much. You changed my life, as we do. And I bumped into a friend of mine. And she was like, Kat, what are you doing? And I went, oh, I quit my job. She's like, what? What are you doing now? And I said, well, I've got 6 business ideas, ADHD. I've got no idea what one I'm going to do, but it's going to be amazing. She's like, right, why don't we just do a social media course, stick to what you're good at? And I was like, I will nail this. I know everything about social media. I'm literally the Facebook channel expert. I can do this. And I think it was also not having encountered those blockers before and not having dealt with that sort of stuff that meant that every time we were talking and she's like, what about this? I'm like, no, we are doing it this way. We are charging this much. And like, I hadn't heard of someone charging $555 for their very first social media course, but I didn't care because it was amazing and everything in it was amazing, right? We sold over $250,000 worth in a month and a half. We did 282,000 in sales. And that was a pretty big win for my first month in business ever. So it kind of anchored right there, like what I could do with 3,000 followers on a Facebook page. And I bought your course as well. Do you remember? That was in the middle of my launch. I was one of the first to buy your amazing, amazing Facebook groups course.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was so good. And, you know, like I took everything that I already knew about communities and like your tips and tricks for Facebook. And, you know, obviously we both have far greater arsenals of those now, but it was exactly what I needed. And that helped me grow my first not my first group, but the group that I built off the back of that launch, because launching grows your tribe. Launching grows your tribe. Always launch, launch, launch. It's the best thing you can do, right? And I grew that group, I can't remember, was it to like 10,000 in 8 weeks or something crazy? It was just nuts. Whatever it was, I remember posting stats in your group going, yay, yay, look at it now. And it was just something I was so passionate about. And actually, here's what anchored it all for me. And here's what gave me the idea to create that community. This is really funny. I said this on the Swannies podcast yesterday. Do you use Quora?
No.
Quora.com. Okay. Amazing, amazing website. I was browsing there, and some guy had said on Quora, how do you become a billionaire? Like, I know how you become a millionaire, you just work hard and get lucky, but how do you become a billionaire? And Elon Musk's ex-wife is a writer. I didn't know this. She came along and she answered this question in comments, and it is stupidly viral on Quora, and I'd never read it before, and I'll summarize it for you. She said, you need to find the thing in the world that you hold the most emotion in, that you're the most passionate about, and that you're really good at. And you need to become the best in the world at that thing. Just keep going and like master it, master that exact thing, become the best in the world. And once you've done that, you need to find another thing that you love and that you're passionate about and that you know everything about. Master that and become the best in the world. And then you build a bridge between the two, and that is how you become a billionaire.
Wow.
Yeah, like, and my brain just went, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I know what I need to do. So I created a hyper specific niched group deliberately to teach them a very specific skill set, and it immediately blew up.
Wow. That's awesome. So like, what do you think was the most powerful parts of both of those skills that made it kind of just blow up like that?
The two parts to my Facebook community, and I don't want to get into hyper details about what the community is because I don't want to promote it. I want to use this as a learning tool for people listening so that they can insert their own communities and have a think about it. But the first layer is my skill. I hyper specifically teach my skill set and very specific parts of my skill set. And it's right there in the group name when I named it. The other part is the community I was the most passionate about and loved the most and still am. Mm. So my skill, lay it onto my community, which I live in and roll around in constantly, right? Like so much of what I do is a part of this community. So when I bring that skill there, it's exactly what's needed. For example, you know, I'm working with a speech therapist at the moment because one of my clients is a 23-year-old amazing dude that has Down syndrome, and he's almost got his certificate in personal training. He's an amazing CrossFitter. He goes to all of the tournaments and stuff. I don't even know what you call it. You can tell I do weights. I don't know all that stuff. But he's amazing at it, right? And so I'm working with his speech therapist to develop a set of PDF prompts specifically for special needs parents so that they can get their child saying these very basic words. And then my client Jordan is working to create also alongside that these really cool printable PDF prompts that parents can do at home with their children for really basic exercises that will support them with low tone and that sort of thing in conjunction with his physio. Now, should he not be selling these resources because he's paid a consultant to come in and validate what's in them? Of course he should still be. This is his brand. This is everything that he's doing. It's something that he's super passionate about and he's amazing at. And I think one of the main blockers for people showing up and creating communities is that I don't know that one bit, I can't teach it. Bullshit. Pay someone, get them in. Go, here's this resource from this person I paid. This is how you leverage your business to greater heights.
Through that. Yeah, it's so fun to see everybody has these different skill sets in different areas, and how they come together is the magic. So yep. same as you, like I know that happened to me a lot where, you know, I learned all of this really, really solid, you know, direct response copy, funnels, you know, really the psychology part of that. And I thought, okay, cool. How do we apply this to communities and groups? Like, where do these two intersect? Where it's creating an awesome experience and creating lots of dollars, you know? So it's really, really fun to kind of discover those skills, how they fit and develop it over the years for sure. So for everybody else out there watching, I want you guys to either, you know, respond in the comments, or if you're on the podcast, just think about this for a second. Like, what are your two powerhouse skills, or what are those skills that you guys want to work on developing? What do you really want to like show up every day and do, and then smash together to create like an awesome, unique zone of genius? Elon Musk's ex-wife said that's how you become a billionaire. So if you guys want to do that, I think that might be a good question for you guys to think on. So love that. And I know we wanted to chat on some of your secret sauce goodies of what the heck is behind the scenes of a 5-figure program. As everybody else out there, are you guys watching? Do you guys want to see what the behind the scenes of a 5-figure program is? Let me know in the comments. And guys, I'm excited for this one because Kat, like you said, you have, you know, ran these programs yourself. You've been through a handful of them. You've heard, you know, all of the different feedback from the industry and created a very unique one yourself. So how do you run it? What's the structure? What's the pricing? if you're cool sharing that, like what's how's it go?
Yeah, cool. So it's around 5 figures a year, and the price is going up very shortly. So I'm not going to share exact pricing because it's capped per members, but I just want to share a couple of things with you if you're considering creating a leveraged coaching program. And I'll share a couple of my thoughts as I created it, because this part's really important, I feel. I just found it really funny that I was charging so much for one-to-one because I had to, Arne. You know what it's like. You've got to justify the time you're spending, because like I can make a lot of money selling low and medium ticket. I can't take on one-to-one clients at a set hourly rate and cap my income potential. That's not what it's about. So I always cap it at 2. Right now I only have 1 client and I'm happy with that. And here are some of my initial thoughts. How can I provide enough value when people don't have me as when they had me sitting there for an hour? Now, I also want to point out that I'm a trained adult vocational facilitator who has built many, many programs to train staff in corporate. And I still had these thoughts. It's totally normal to think that. It's just a little bit of our ego coming up, right? It's all that happens, and it's really natural. And just know that everyone does that when they start a leveraged coaching program. So the answer to that is, if you're not leveraging your time, you're actually not serving them as well as you could be. Mm-hmm. Because right now, you know, for less than what they were paying me one-to-one, they now get, you may not have heard of Kerwin Ray, who is an Australian business coach, but I love him. I think he's amazing. And his old financial coach and a good friend of mine who was the financial coach for one of his programs, K2, which is his slightly higher ticket program, amazing woman, and also a registered accountant, you know, a cash flow coach. She now coaches exclusively for me in Dream Builders. So every Thursday, everybody in my program gets to sit down with where they are with their cash flow, where they are with every single step in her program, and get personally coached by her on those steps. I can't do that. I worked at ATO for 8 years. I can tell you how to track down a company. I can tell you how to send them off for insolvency if need be. I can tell you lots of things about the Australian tax system and legislation. However, I cannot teach someone how to do profit and loss. I don't know. I send it to my accountant. So just having that there, and I've learned so much from her too. Like, I love getting on calls with her. I learn more and more every time, because that's what it's about. This entire thing is a learning journey for everyone. And when you create a leverage coaching program, you're creating opportunities for other people to shine, and you're really creating that ecosystem. Because what I teach, as far as my Venn diagram goes of what my dream community looks like, it's my peers, it's my mentors, and it's my followers. And they constantly overlap and intersect in the most beautiful way. And they do that by, you can overlap and intersect using masterminds, by using challenges, by using, you know, reach outs and connecting and DMs. There's so many different ways you can do that, but communities are fluid and ecosystems are fluid. If you are not building a solid, structured ecosystem around your community and it's dependent on you, guess what? Your community is a sole trader. You get hit by a bus, there goes your community, my friend.